Today I will be reading to you my whimsical story by Jocelyn Smith called The Same Old. Here is a quick summary about the characters. First character is Chad. Chad is the main character of the story. He is a hardworking man that does the same boring old things. He is the protagonist. Then there's Joe, Chad's buddy that parties with Chad after work. He's a side character. And then there's the aliens that take Chad away from home one random night, which are also an antagonist. Quick questions. Point of view being told from. The third person perspective will be the point of view the story will be told from. Conflict. Chad gets abducted by the aliens but learns a lesson while he was taken. The problem is Chad does the same things every weekend but learns he needs to make his life more interesting. What you'll learn from my story. Take time to try new things and do things you may fear doing. You only live one life, and do everything you can to make it more enjoyable. Rising action and climax. Main characters getting randomly abducted one random night. How is the conflict resolved? Chad finds his bike stolen on the ship of the aliens, and he runs for it and rides all the way home. The introduction. Chad is a very hard-working, tough, ambitious guy. He spends most of his time working up by Michigan Lake working as a construction worker. Chad works Mondays all the way through Friday, staying in his apartment throughout the week. On the weekends, he finally gets to come home to his family and chill out with some friends. Friday nights, when Chad gets home, he's usually riding around town on his bike and or partying with his friends in town. His friends really give him time to be himself and make him laugh after a long, hard week of working. Chad spends most of his time keeping his feelings in, making him come off as tougher and stronger to the others who may not know Chad very well. He enjoys spending his time with his family after work and does everything he can to make sure they get everything they want in order to make them happy. Deep down, Chad isn't as tough mentally as he may seem. Chad is tough physically, but mentally he's struggling, but yet still does everything in his power to make sure that his family has nice things and a nice home. Chad is exhausted and tired, but he will never show that to anyone because he doesn't want anyone to worry about him. But his family knows deep down. His family is very thankful for him, for everything he does for them, all the work he does all week, just so his family can be happy. It's worth all the stress put on him from his job. Chad's family is proud of him and happy with the life he gives to them to live. Although the family may not show it enough for him to understand, they still do their very best to get things he enjoys to understand, and they understand he is tired. The moral of the story is that Chad is hardworking and tough on the outside, but not as tough on the inside as it may seem. Never assume someone is okay mentally just because they act like it. Everyone struggles and heals in their own ways. Now I will be reading my story, The Same Old. In a small town, there is a big house with a man named Chad. Chad parties and rides his Harley around after a long week of work with his buddy Joe. One night, while Chad is sleeping, he wakes up to a loud whooshing sound outside. He looks out the window to see a huge UFO-like ship sitting in his yard. The next second, Chad sees nothing but black. He's been kidnapped. He soon realizes he's on a different planet. Chad sees his bike, which they stole on the other side of the UFO, and runs straight for it. He gets on his bike and rides all the way back to Earth as they chase him. Once Chad loses the aliens and his home, he finally realizes he needs to make his life more interesting. The aliens taught him a lesson, so every Friday night, instead of biking around in his small town, he bikes all the way to Jupiter to his alien friends. Chad learned a lesson today. He learned that the simplest things in life matter, so go out and do something because you only live one life and to get to make every day an adventure.